Welcome to the Bywords Show. I'm your host, Hannah Hughes. Bywords is all about equipping women for purposeful living by starting conversations, celebrating stories, and inspiring faith. In a world that applauds the hustle, I'm here to help you break free from the lies and come back to what really matters. It's time to get real, get rooted in truth, and come alive in relationship with Jesus so you can show up to each day with intention and confidence no matter where you're at in your story. Here we believe that embracing our stories brings hope, healing, and purpose to the process, and sharing our stories helps others do the same. Whether you're looking for a midweek faith refresh, practical tools for pursuing your dreams, or just need some good old-fashioned girl talk, you're in the right place. Grab your latte and let's dive in. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Bywords Show. Today is the day, and I'm so glad you're here. Today's episode is inspired by real life events, really just the season that we've been in lately, kind of crazy with transitions and moving and work and travel and all kinds of things going on. And I've learned a few things over the past few years of Christopher being a full-time wedding photographer where he's traveling quite a bit. I am at home with the kiddos quite a bit. And I just thought, you know what? Let's talk about how we can support our husbands in busy seasons, plus some solo parenting tips in case you're a mama who's at home with kids a lot of the time when your husband's traveling or, like doing the whole solo mom thing. This is not a comprehensive one size fits all list, but I did want to share a couple of things that have really helped us. I'll just be honest and say this is something that's taken me a long time to learn. It's taken me a long time to settle into this season and really be okay with Christopher being gone. I don't know, just getting my footing in these seasons that are crazy, like being able to stay connected and work together for the best outcome when life gets wild. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I hope that you'll find this helpful. If you love the Bywords Show, it would mean so much to me if you would pause really quickly, scroll down, leave a rating and a written review. It just means the world to me and it helps us to reach more people through the podcast. So thank you in advance for doing that. Subscribe wherever you're listening. Pop over on YouTube, pop over on Instagram and say, hey, let me know that you're listening. I would just love to hear from you. So let's get into this episode. We're talking about how we can support our husbands when life gets crazy, whether your husband is working a lot or traveling. Maybe it's just a big season for transitions for you or you're moving, whatever that looks like. It is just so important more than anything else to remember that marriage is a partnership. You're in it together. You're on a team. I'll probably say that 100 times throughout this episode. It's something that I've had to learn as I've just healed my own stuff through our marriage. We've been married this year. It'll be 7 years. So although it's not super long, it still feels kind of new-ish. We have been, we've got a few years under our belt. We've learned quite a few things. I have learned quite a few things in the process. So I'm just excited to share some of the things that I've learned and what's worked for us in those kinds of seasons. So first of all, let's talk about how we can approach these seasons. If you know it's coming, the best thing you can do is prepare. Obviously, life happens. Things that are unexpected come up. Maybe it's a health concern. Maybe it's a money concern. Maybe you never know. Okay. But for the most part, if you can prepare for a season of busyness where maybe you'll be apart more or he'll be focusing more on work or whatever that looks like, it just makes a world of difference if you're able to go into it with a ready heart, ready mind, ready attitude. Okay. So first of all, recognize and, validate the stress that either one of you is feeling. It is hard. I would say one of the hardest things for me in this journey has been learning that we have to work together. You have to communicate. Otherwise, you're just going to start getting frustrated. Actually, let me pull this up. My friend Chantel Nelson, who has been on the show before, actually posted about this yesterday on Instagram. She posted this reel. I'll just read it to you what she said in the caption. I used to feel really anxious or even angry when my husband went out of town. I felt alone and abandoned and would suffer alone in silence. And when he got back, I'd punish him with distance. Anyone else relate? She said, I hear this from clients and friends all the time. I get so mad when he comes home. I feel abandoned by him. I'm angry that he gets to leave and I don't. I feel so lonely and overwhelmed. And then she goes on to explain, I get it. I've been there. It's a vicious cycle and not one that we want to be stuck in, right? And so I have said most of those things, either in my head or out loud. It's hard, okay? When you feel like you're in a season where maybe you're carrying most of the weight at home, or you're the one that's, doing the bulk of the parenting, or maybe you just feel abandoned, alone, like he's just off doing his thing and having a great time without you. It's good and helpful to take a step back and realize, okay, That's, probably not his intention is to be malicious about it. It's not like he's off living his best life on his own without you. Like, I can't imagine that's probably what he's doing, especially if it's work related. But there are times when I approach these seasons like that, and it's very easy to get resentful fast, to get frustrated, to feel like there's some kind of disconnect and you just start to get like frustrated and irritable. And we don't want that, right? Like, we have to come back to the fact that it is a partnership. You're in it together. You're not fighting each other. You're fighting together to help each other and support each other, whatever the season looks like, right? So I feel like, first and foremost, communicating about it, being really real about what's coming. What do you need? Take in inventory of what's been going well lately. Maybe he's been gone in the past, and you can look back on that situation and be like, okay, what worked well? What do we need to do better this time around? Are there things that I can do from home to better support you? Are there things that you can do when you're away to make me feel more secure? Those kinds of things. As much as you can talk about and prepare for ahead of time will help so, so, so much. Again, we're not perfect at this. It's something we literally had a conversation about this morning because we're traveling currently. And when we get back into Colorado to go home this week, Christopher has a flight somewhere else. Like, he's going out of state. And it's just so easy to let life happen and not communicate about it, and then end up really frustrated or alone when you feel like, well, I had no say in this. I'm a victim here and I'm just doing it all by myself. Or, we just don't want that. It's not helpful for anybody. It just causes division and irritability and tension. We want to avoid that as much as we can. So definitely communicate. And then as you're communicating, get really practical about ways that both of you can express empathy for each other and support. So like I said, really struggled for a while when Christopher was gone, because I felt like I was doing everything on my own. I felt like I was carrying everything on my own. Like, I was the only one who was taking care of the house, taking care of the kids. And I'm over here like, being a mom is a full-time job. Where's my break? And then he would come home from working and be exhausted. And I would be like, you're tired. I'm tired. I've just spent the last hours, days, however long with these kids and cleaning the house. And I've got 100 other things I need to do. And nobody wins in that situation. So I have to get real with myself and be like, he is gone for work. This is what we've decided is the best thing for our family. This is his job. So instead of thinking about it as like, oh, he's gone just having fun on his own and I'm here trapped here doing whatever else. And that's just not how it is. Like, you have to remember, if you're in it together, hopefully the decision for him to be away is something that you've both anticipated and decided on is the best thing for your family. Again, unexpected things come up. It may not be what you would love or the ideal situation, but as much as you can, get on the same page and be understanding and empathetic about his role. Whether, like, if he's working specifically, I'll use that example because I feel like most of the time that's what it is when the husband's away. But we just have to remember, you're both tired. You're both working. You both have a lot on your plate. So it's not a competition to see who deserves rest more or who's working harder. You have to learn to support each other, hear each other, and then carve out space for both of you to get your needs met, whether that's resting, whether that's getting out of the house to be with friends. If you're a mom, maybe you need to get out and just like be around people who can talk to you like an adult and just have a break from the craziness of cleaning all day and figuring out messes and just rinse and repeat that whole cycle over and over again. So just be honest, communicate and be honest. Ask what you can do to help and support him, and also allow him to know what would help you. Be really real about that. Like, something that we talked about even this morning, I asked Christopher, I was like, can you please over communicate with me? If you put something on the calendar, we have a shared calendar so we can see what each other has going on. But I just asked again, please communicate, like over communicate with me if something is being scheduled or something that is coming up that was scheduled a while ago. So I don't feel like I'm taken off guard or like it came out of nowhere, which it's not. But sometimes my brain can only be in the moment, like I'm planning 100 things. I've got kids' schedules, nap schedules, figuring out meals, figuring out my own work-life balance. And then I realized, oh my gosh, yeah, he's going out of town this week and I totally forgot. And now I feel like I'm running around crazy, like trying to scramble and get things ready and prepared. So be really honest about that. Have open conversations, have regular conversations about what's coming up on your calendar and what you can do to really help each other and support each other. So that's the first thing, is preparing, communicating, all that. Second thing, creating a peaceful home environment for when he's away. This is huge. If you are a mom, this is huge. If you're not a mom, this is huge. It's so important to be aware of your environment, figure out what works for you. So, how can you keep some sort of peace in the chaos and calm in your environment, whether it's like organizing meals or planning out a schedule for yourself or your kids while he's gone? Like, what needs to be taken care of while he's away? How can you do your part to, again, prepare and make sure that everything will run smoothly while he's away and you don't feel overwhelmed? You can think about, small acts of service that you can do for him when he's away. Are there things that he usually does, like taking out the trash or cleaning up after pets or, something like that, that you could maybe take on temporarily while he's gone so that he doesn't come home and feel like all of a sudden he has no time to rest because he has to just jump right back into his house chores. That kind of stuff can really alleviate stress and make him feel really supported. I know that's something for Christopher. It's like when he comes home, the last thing he wants to do is hear my to-do list of 100 things that we need to catch up on and bills that need to be paid and things that are going wrong. So that's something I've learned can wait. If there are things that need to be taken care of, obviously, if it's not urgent, just let him breathe. And then there will be a time to catch up on all of that. And also just encourage balance, like however you can in your environment, find ways to relax, to have downtime, to find things that you enjoy or your kids enjoy while he's gone. So it's not like, okay, dad's gone, everybody, we just need to chill out or make sure we stick to the plan or like just keep it under control until he gets home. You can enjoy it. It'll look different, but there's still ways that you can enjoy it. So think about things that will be helpful for you. If it's really stressful, like let's say your husband's gone on a weekend. Christopher has gone on weekends a lot because he does a lot of weddings and traveling for that. So if I know like taking the kids to church on Sunday is really overwhelming on my own, like are there things that I can do to help myself prepare for that? Can I go to a later service? Can I ask somebody to help me when I get there or save me a spot? Can I go with somebody to church? Those kinds of things help me not feel as stressed and like I'm doing it all on my own while my husband is away. So those kinds of things maybe can help you, whether it's like planning out your meals for the week or planning out activities for your kids, events at the library or having play dates, whatever you need to do to keep and maintain that sense of peace and calm while he's gone. That will also help a whole lot. And right along with that, I don't want to be cliche, but the spiritual aspect of this is humongous, especially because we know, gosh, I have a friend who said this years ago. We know that the enemy is after families. Divorce is crazy. Like the rate of divorce is really, really high. The rate of dysfunction in families is really high. So that should be a sign to us as believers to safeguard those things, right? To protect those things that God really values, especially in the home. So knowing that when your husband is away, it's really easy to feel stressed, to feel alone, to start getting in your head about like, oh, he doesn't care. I'm just here like doing it all on my own or feeling lonely or feeling, whatever comes up for you if that's a struggle. Pray. Pray for your husband while he's away. Pray for his work. Pray over him, like safety in his travels. Pray over your home that you will have peace. Man, when Christopher used to be away in the beginning of our marriage, like I used to be so afraid and nervous of being in our home alone at night, like just going to bed without him. I hated that. So I would pray for peace in our home, pray that I would feel safe and protected even though he wasn't there. Do what you got to do, but like pray. Definitely get intentional about praying over your marriage. Don't let the enemy sneak in with lies. Don't let him sneak in with any kind of like division or anything like that that could cause tension unnecessarily. You can do things to keep you guys connected spiritually while he's away. Like maybe you guys can send each other a text to say like, I'm praying for you today. I love you today. I'm grateful for you. You could do a devotional together. You could do something like that together where even if you're apart, it feels like you're connected. That's huge. And then also, like, if it is a stressful time for your husband, what a perfect opportunity to step up and really support him spiritually as a leader. There have been so many times in my marriage, and honestly, this is a whole other conversation we can get into another day, but there have been times where I feel like Christopher is so busy that he's neglecting his role as a leader in the home. So I would feel like if he's not going to do it, I have to. So I would step up and I'd be like, well, you're gone. So this is how we do it now. Or like, this is what I've been doing to discipline at home, or this is how I've been taking care of these chores, or no, this is how we do it now. Not cutting him off from that, like keeping him included in what's going on, keeping him like honoring his position as leader, even if he's not physically present in the home, making the calls, calling the shots in the moment. You know what I mean? It's really important for us as women. I know that idea of submission is so controversial and it can sound so icky, like to some women, and they're just like, I don't like it. But really, at the heart of it, it's just how can you support him knowing that for this season, whatever it looks like for you and for your family and your marriage, this is what it looks like. This is what it requires for us financially. Maybe if it's for a job or, this is what this season looks like. And it won't be like this forever. But right now, how can we work within our season to support each other? And how can I honor his role as a leader, even if it looks different and he's not physically present right now? So definitely pray for your heart, read scripture, pray scripture over him, and just encourage him. Let him know, like, we're in this together. Those kinds of things can do so much. I don't know about y'all, but like, to me, knowing that my husband is in my corner and I always have somebody who is looking out for me and praying for me, like that is the most secure feeling in the world. Just to know that somebody is in it with me. Like we are committed to each other. We are in this covenant together, and whatever life throws at us, we've decided this is a partnership. We are a team. We are not fighting each other no matter how hard it gets. So, especially with faith and spiritual warfare and prayer and reading your Bible and staying connected, like leaning on the Lord during those times is critical. And then just a few practical things that are super important and helpful, I think, are using words of affirmation, or honestly just like figuring out what's your husband's love language and how can you support him from a distance or leading up to that, or even coming off of a busy season, because it's a whole thing. Every phase of this looks different. But in preparation, how can you be encouraging him, praying for him, serving him, loving him? When he's gone, how can you be holding down the fort, like supporting him while he's away, and like maybe being the main role in the home that weekend or with your kids? And then when he comes back, how can you support him in his rest and recovery and, giving him grace to kind of ease back into things? That is super important. So think about his love languages. Think about how you can encourage him with words of affirmation, with quality time. Maybe he needs a break from work and it means going to be with his friends, like being okay that sometimes maybe it means a little bit more time away temporarily if it means filling his cup back up. Because I just it's hard. Like I said, this has been a struggle for me in the past where Christopher has been gone and he comes home and I feel like, okay, well, peace out. It's my time to have a break now. I'm going to go out with my friends or do whatever. And it doesn't work that way where it's like, okay, as long as one of us is home with the kids, if at least one of us is here, then we don't have to worry about it. Like, no, like it's still important to have quality time together with your spouse, with your family. It's still important to make sure you're connecting together, checking in with each other, and not just going through the checklist of like, what's on the calendar? What are the kids doing? What do we need to do for school? What do we need to do for work? What do we need to do for bills being paid and that kind of thing? It's so much more than that. Like if you want a marriage that's actually going to be healthy and thriving, like it's one thing to just be on autopilot and cruise through the busy seasons and then feel like, okay, well, we'll just catch up when things calm down. A lot of the times that just doesn't happen and it's on to the next thing, right? Like there's always something else added to the calendar. There's always another thing coming up. There's always like a reason to not prioritize it, but we have got to fight in our marriages and just be really intentional. I would say that's the best thing I could say, is just being intentional proactively to protect your marriage, to protect your connection with your spouse as much as you can is going to be huge. So get really practical, write him a love note, FaceTime him while he's away, those kinds of things go a lot farther than we realize a lot of the time. And I have to remind myself of that. Like Christopher will just say sometimes like, I just need encouragement. And I just realized, I've just been so focused on my own routine and my own agenda, my own checklist, that I didn't even realize that this is silly. Love tank. Have y'all heard that analogy? Love tank. I think it's from an app. Didn't even realize your love tank was running on empty, and there are so many fun ways that you can help each other and support each other. Definitely prioritizing dates when he is home, reconnecting as much as you can. Like when he gets back, can you set aside some time after the kids are in bed and just unwind and debrief the trip and the season together? Really focus on that connection and focus on having fun together when he is home. Like in April, Christopher was gone back to back out of state for 3 weeks. And it was one of the hardest times of our life, especially because we were preparing to move in May. So it was wild. Don't even know how we held it together, but a lot of these things are what were the glue for us. And really just realizing that when he is there, it's okay if the dishes sit in the sink. It's okay if things aren't perfect. It's okay if we don't have anything, quote, fun to do. It's okay if you just like sit home and veg out with the kids and just enjoy each other's company before he leaves on the next trip. It doesn't have to be like, okay, you're home, back to life as normal. Let's get caught up on everything, because that is just so exhausting. And nobody wants to get caught in that cycle of like just feeling like you can never catch up after a busy season, you know? So we've just learned to, I guess, get our priorities realigned and like centered on, more than anything, what's the most important thing. It's not making sure that the chores are done and that everything on the to-do list is ticked and that we're at every event that we need to go to. Like sometimes you need to say no to protect the most important things, which are your connection, your rest, your time with family. And that looks different for everybody, right? But I definitely think if you can, again, communicate and sit down and get really clear with your spouse about what you both need to feel supported and loved through any season, but especially busy seasons, that will make a world of difference. So let's get into some tips for solo parenting, because moms know when dad is gone, it is hard. Okay. It is sometimes like, are you okay, mom? Like, are you surviving? I don't know. Like, we may be running on just caffeine, but we do what we can, right? I would definitely say I don't have this figured out yet, but I am learning and becoming more flexible, which is something that's really hard for me to do as somebody who's usually, or I would say used to be, a very regimented, structured, scheduled, organized person. Sometimes it's just like taking it day by day. And when dad is gone, that is usually what we're doing. So number one tip for solo parenting is just embracing flexibility, keeping routines as much as you can, but just being okay with leaving space for the chaos, because it will probably happen, you know, like when dad's gone, there's inconsistency in the schedule. I mean, I know so many times when Christopher's been traveling, I've just noticed in Jude, his mood changes or his attitude, or he's more irritable. Like he just misses his dad and he doesn't know how to express that. So sometimes that comes out in big feelings, right? So just keeping as much structure and consistency, I would say more than anything, is really, really helpful for kids. But again, also being flexible. Next thing is seeking and accepting help. If you need help, ask for it. People want to help you. So again, get real about what you need and communicate. If you need somebody to come over, if you're feeling like you're about to lose your mind and you just need to talk to an adult human being about something other than Paw Patrol or Legos, or answering a million questions about why, have a friend come over. See if you can meet for a play date. See if you can meet for, a coffee and let your kids just run around outside at a park or something. Do what you need to do, mom, to keep your sanity and make it through the time when he's gone. It's okay if it doesn't look perfect. It's okay if you don't stick to your perfect routines. It's okay. Like, go into it knowing that you're going to be flexible, and I promise it will help so much. Number three, self-care, managing stress. I feel like pretty much along with everything I've already said is you just have to get real about what you need. If you know you're going to be overwhelmed when your husband is gone, what can you do proactively to help yourself? Can you set up play dates? Can you set up time with friends where you can bring your kids along? Or can you set up little moments for yourself to rest? Like, are there times during the day where your kids are playing and you can get some chores done so that when they're in bed, you can actually like read, watch a show, do something that fills your cup? Those kinds of things for me help me stay sane, but also just help me realize, okay, life doesn't fall apart when Christopher's gone. I can still enjoy the season. That makes a huge difference as well. And then again, maintaining connection with your husband, especially for the kids, it helps so much. So we do things like FaceTiming, Marco Polo, sending pictures, the whole nine. Like, it's just so fun to send updates back and forth, knowing that he may not respond or see it right away, but when he can, it's just, he feels a little bit more connected to us at home. Like, it's so easy to forget when your husband's gone. Like, it's not like he just loves being away from you guys. It really helps him to feel like connected because he misses us too. So some stuff like that is really simple and fun to do. And then also just have fun with your kids. Again, be flexible, go with the flow. It doesn't have to be so serious. Let them enjoy the time that you have with them and realize that it's actually really great. Like, what a gift to have that quality time with them, even if it feels crazy sometimes. Find age appropriate ways to explain why dad is away if they have questions or if they're sad and missing him, and then keep them entertained with, educational or fun activities. You can go outside and play. You can go to the library. Again, play dates, all those kinds of things are lifesavers. And then also just being intentional about helping them feel secure and loved when dad's away, and helping them understand, like, I know this is not how you want it to be. Like, I know you want your dad. I want your dad too. But as best you can, just supporting them through the transition and the busy season as well, because we forget sometimes that kids notice it as well. Like it's hard for them, just like it's hard for us when our husband is away. So just giving them grace, taking time to chill if you need it, letting everyone feel their feelings and know that dad's coming home soon. And then being prayerful about that as well. So I know that was kind of like rapid fire, but hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully there's some tips in there. If you think of anything else, come and let me know. I'd love to share this on social media as well. Send it to a mom who's solo parenting right now or is in a busy season with her husband, because I feel like at the core of this, really, it's just remembering we are in this together. It's a partnership in marriage. It's not fighting against one another. It's working together, supporting each other, communicating about how you can help each other feel loved and supported through every season, but especially when life gets crazy and busy. So that's all I got for you today, my friends. I love you so much. Good luck to you if you're solo parenting while you're listening to this. I love you. Send me a DM. I'm on your side. I'm cheering you on, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to tune into another episode of the Byword Show. I love having you here, and I am truly so thankful for your support. Don't forget to share a screenshot of this episode to let me know you were here, and quick favor, if you enjoyed this episode, would you take a second to leave a review? It really helps our community grow. If you want more, you can shop my books Waking Up and Love Is at thehannahhughes.com or on Amazon, and be sure to join my email list for all the latest news. I can't wait to chat again soon, but in the meantime, be sure to come connect with me on social media, and remember, I'm cheering you on.